to Joey Kirk. Mike, a pretty well-built young guy. Not saying that Joey Kirk is exactly slimly built, but Richardson.
Right,
really,
he put the hammer on Jimmy Banks in that game at the Rosemont Horizon.
Right. Mike is a very devoted weightlifter, and I think we saw the result of it right there. Kelly and Sunderland colliding, and now as Castillo coming across, looking for the shot. Now on the far side, the shot by Carnozzi, and Pierce making the save. Boy, Tony Pierce coming up big once again.
Joey Kirk, nice job going in, sliding to get that ball off the board and help Tony Pierce out a little bit. Well, Chicago's had opportunities here in this quarter, more so than Milwaukee, leading at 4-3.
Basso drawing the foul that time. Now Carlos still working it on the restart for Kelly to Basso coming in, and his drive is just over the cross. Chicago. And we're going to have another timeout on the field with 8 seconds left in the quarter. Not too many empty seats here tonight at the Bradley Center as we look around. And we'll have to see what the official attendance is, Dwayne, but I would imagine it's got to be at least 15,000.
It certainly looks that way, Tom, yes.
Bradley Center seating 17,400 for soccer, and the Wave set the league record in attendance in a contest last year against Canton. In fact, it was the last regular season game here at the Bradley Center of the 1989-90 season. 17,401 turning out for. There you see the next Wave game coming up. That'll be here Sunday at the Bradley Center when the Wave hosts the Hershey Impact as they wrap up the season series against the Impact. Hershey, by the way, with a big victory over Detroit last night.
Yes.
Artie Kramer, the former Wave player, doing a nice job for the Impact. And, of course, our next televised game will be a week from tomorrow, March 2nd from the Omni. Should be a great one. The Wave and the Atlanta Attack. Back to the action, and the shot by Rensick just wide. And the buzzer's going to sound, and that'll do it for the first quarter. So Chicago, they work it back out for Banks. Jimmy with that left foot shot, won't take it this time. Now loses control as Castillo starts it back for Marhetic.
I thought Eddie had a chance to take that himself coming down. I was kind of expecting Eddie to unload.
And Castillo comes back the other way to put one into the nets, and Chicago taking advantage of the counterattack, and they now lead it 6-3.
Mirko Castillo, 89 points now on this season, and Felipe Hernandez will have this ball go up and hit the crossbar and go in behind him. Pass, Castillo, nice move, and unloads, and in it goes.
3:11 the time of the score for Castillo. Well, we told you at the outset, he and Pato Marhetic were the two guys the Wave was going to have to try to put the wraps on. Right now, Marhetic has an assist on a shorthand goal, and Castillo picking up the two-pointer right there, his 31st two-pointer, and as Dwayne mentioned, 82 points on the year. That is second in the team in scoring behind Marhetic. They move it back the other way, and a shot and a goal by Mike Richardson. And Chicago really starting to take control now as back-to-back goals here early in the second quarter have put them up by 5 at 8-3.
Well, that wasn't even a contest. That was almost too easy. Richardson with the goal, and it's an 8-3 game. Well, now you can see how important that was, or the play was in the first quarter by Tony Pierce as the Wave got out of the quarter down by a point, 4-3. And Felipe Hernandez has watched Chicago beat him twice here in just seconds apart. Take a 5-point lead.
Well, not much Felipe could have done about that one as they were able to turn it around and come back 3-1. Back-to-back goals within 12 seconds. And how many times have we seen it, Dwayne, in this game of indoor soccer where you get a team that scores a quick goal and all of a sudden it's a flurry? And I think right now the Wave has got to stabilize. This easily could get out of control. Still 11:37 left to go in the first half, so I don't think it's panic time, but I think they certainly have to try to stabilize a little bit defensively and get things turned around.
Have to go back to what you were doing and doing well, at least at the start of this game. But again, for Milwaukee, you take away the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and they've really kind of been in kind of a mist here. They just haven't looked crisp offensively and been kind of late, uncharacteristically of them, in getting to positions and spots defensively. And the result has been Chicago taking advantage, and we had mentioned maybe they'd be a little frustrated after that first quarter, not getting as many goals as they had chances to get against Tony Pierce. But
Pascarich is out there with Marhetic, Richardson, and Jay Rensick. Marhetic getting through for Rensick, and Banks just getting there to knock it away.
Big play by Jimmy Banks.
Diego up for Rogers. Here's Lee trying to beat Pascarich. Coming in, Rogers tripped down, and we are going to have a penalty. Ed Pascarich, a little less than subtle with his tactics to nail Lee Rogers, as Lee had a half step on him coming in.
Oh yeah, a little reach around, a little grab, little push, pull, and dive and roll, yes.
5:37 the time of the penalty, third against Chicago, as Pascarich will go for tripping. Velasco once again to take the shootout, so if he converts, Milwaukee could cut the deficit to 4. Arturo trying to make it 2 for 2 tonight against Mark Berry. Coming straight in. Stepping over, going far side, and he puts another one in.
Same way he got the first one. He started just a hair left, angled sharp right, took him as far as he could take him, and then bang, he pulls it across his body and past the diving Berry, and Velasco has his second point. Watch him there. See, started left. Berry didn't bite it completely, but he just wasn't able to move fast enough, catch up with the speed of Velasco moving right, who was able to stop and let it rip and get the goal.
Well, Arturo probably figures he's going to use that move until Berry can stop him. It's off his foot out of bounds. Chicago will take it. Pato Marhetic, who did not play last year, he was out with a knee injury all year long, was property of the Power. Prior to that, had spent several years in the MSL. His last club before this year, his last action actually was with Tacoma in the MSL. Now broken up by Kelly at midfield. Here's Basso coming back 4-3. Carlos trying to work his way up the middle. Marhetic got there to knock it away. Velasco slides out to get it, but they push it back up ahead for Marhetic. Basso trying to chase him down, now centered, and Hernandez jumps out to knock it away from Castillo. And now Banks turns it around. 3-2 as the Wave counters. Here's Banks going far side for Basso. Carlos trying to play it away from Sunderland. And Chicago going to come out of there with it as Michael Richardson starts attack. Pace starting to pick up as Richardson goes to Marhetic. Near side, Pascarich coming in, and Hernandez again coming out to make the play.
Felipe's in the groove. He has been the last few times down by Chicago.
Chicago's had some great opportunities. Here's Marhetic shooting one in. Velasco knocked that one down. Marhetic gets it back. Now far post, and Hernandez with a great save on the header by Pascarich.
Great anticipation by Felipe Hernandez to go to Wave to come back and get a goal here.
Pastor trying to move in, and Berry makes the save from the top of the box. Fans are screaming for a penalty. They are going to get it. And I'll tell you what happened there, Dwayne. The officials initially didn't want to make a call because Pastor had the advantage. After he came in and was stopped by Berry, then they made the call. We'll take a look on replay here. But that's exactly what happened. So a good job by the officials, because they could have blown the play dead at that point right there. But instead letting Pastor continue to see if he can take advantage of the situation. Obviously Berry stops him, so they make the call.
It comes with 3:17 left to play here in the second period, and the Wave down 8-4, and Arturo Velasco will have at Mark Berry for the third time. Will he go left, then right, and score? We'll find out. See George Pastor.
5 seconds for Arturo to try to get one more. He goes far side, tough angle, and he can't convert. So he did indeed go back to the right, but that time he pushed it too far. and really didn't have a good chance to convert. Again, you only get 5 seconds, so not much of a chance to reload on that play and get off a good shot. Don't know if it's a recurrence of that problem or what, but obviously Kelly, a tough loss for the Wave. We have Ortiz on the disabled list with the strained ligament in his left knee. So right now the injury's starting to add up a little bit for the Wave, which has been relatively healthy so far this year.
Over the course of a season, you're going to have those stretches where you hope that you're playing pretty good soccer, which is what Milwaukee has been doing when the injuries start to nick away at you, and I guess that's just part of the grind, and every team goes through it. They hope to get through it just a little better off than the other guy. So far, that's been the case for Milwaukee.
Chicago, a team that has had more than their share of injuries over the last couple of seasons. They've been without their superstar Batata since virtually the start of the season, and they've had some other guys banged up. Here's a try by Pastor as he was almost able to push it by Barry. Wave keeping possession. Henderson trying to slide in, and Barry going to be able to cover it up. So right off the bat of the third quarter, Milwaukee almost able to turn on the light again. The Wave trailing it by 4. So if they could get a 2-pointer, that would bring them back within 2. Now, apparently the ball did not stay in play on the far side, so it will go back to the Power. Once again, there you see the score. Hope you're enjoying the game here on TV 18, and we'll have one more for you a week from tomorrow, March 2nd, from the Omni in Atlanta, the home of the Atlanta Attack, as the Wave will do battle against Coach Keith Tozier and his Atlanta Attack, which right now has the 3rd best record in the league. Diego playing it at midfield for Tim Tima. Tima now for Pastor, trying to post up on Sunderland, and Sunderland going to get called for the foul, and George not exactly appreciating the way Larry was handling him down there. Restart off the box. Keith Falk in for Diego, and his shot blocked by Sunderland. Sunderland playing a good game for Chicago tonight. He's been everywhere defensively, it seems like. Felipe Hernandez back in the nets to start the third quarter. Again, Tony Pierce started. Had to leave with an injury. We see Tony at the Wave bench across the way. But right now it's Felipe's game for the Wave. Keith Falk trying to move against Michael Richardson. Fell down. They play on. Eddie Henderson cutting that pass off. Falk working it back for Diego. Diego now will back it up to the center circle, try to get things organized offensively. Over for young Tran. Tranny looking downfield. Finally comes to Tima, who goes across for Jimmy Banks. Jimmy trying to go down for Joey Kirk. Couldn't control as